to KZN now, where AmaZulu King Misozulu Kazwelithini is leading a men's march against gender-based violence. He's hoping to change men's attitudes towards women. Now, between April and June this year alone, over 800 women and almost 250 children were killed. Over 11,000 assault cases were also opened. KZN is among the provinces with the high rate of gender-based violence. We've got reporter Nqobile Madlala, who is at the march and joins us for an update. Earlier on, when we caught up with you, Nqobile, the logistics of what was going to happen today were explained to you, what the police's role will be here today, but also what the King is expected to deliver in terms of his thoughts and views on gender-based violence. Surely you've been speaking to activists throughout the morning and what they would like to see happen in terms of change in the province. What have you been engaging activists on?
Well, Rafiwa, from what we have heard from some of the activists, they're saying there are many ways to fight the scourge. In fact, I do have one of the people that actually has an app. But before I get to the fact that there is ways of fighting GBV, even technologically, I am going to start with the SAPS because they're obviously leading the march at this point. We are at the City Hall where we are waiting for Umamlindi Wesisulu. So whilst we wait, Baba, if you can just explain what is the role of SAPS in fighting against the scourge, specifically also men in the SAPS.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, but not on behalf of the SAPS as per se, because there is provincial communication for SAPS to comment on provincial issues. But on Men for Change program, as the champion of the MFC, which is Men for Change in KwaZulu-Natal, we are supporting the program. And we are saying that no violence against women and children, as well as violence against men in our province.
I mean, why is this important as a man?
It's very important because we're encouraging most of our men to shout out and speak openly about the abuse against women and children, including men.
And now that you are here, I mean, we are seeing you with Ozagwenu here to also talk about these issues. Tell us a bit about the conversations that you have together.
We always encourage our members in the SAPS as Men for Change that we need to speak out, we need to respect the rights of women and children, and also discourage the abuse of women and children, as well as stand as Amadoda within KwaZulu-Natal to defend our women as well as children.
Or if you are not standing just as SAPS, but standing as men and in their different formations. So I'm going to bring in another man here with an app that looks into fighting GBV. So tell us a bit about this app. How does it help?
We designed this app specifically to try and assist the police and the law enforcers to ensure that they can capture evidence that can be used in a court of law. So the main functions of the app is to collect evidence as and when it appears. The app goes inside those rooms and behind those closed doors where really that's where GBV really happens.
Say I was supposedly in a GBV situation at this moment and I had this app, how would it work?
Well, the app is very easy to use. It uses 4 main states, representing a robot with an additional color of blue. Green means you're safe. By simply shaking your phone, it goes onto Amber Alert mode where it just uploads all the data or whatever conversation that is being having around. Imagine yourself in a metered cab and you require to capture that evidence. That's when it happens. Imagine those abuses that happens in offices, then you can use the app for that. If the situation does not de-escalate, you go to red alert mode where it switches on both front and back camera and live streams all that audio and all that visuals onto a cloud whilst alerting your guardians. These are people you would have preloaded on the app to be your guardians. Then they know, see and hear as if they're in the same room with you. And then the last stage being blue, where it calls on private security wherever you are in the country.
And I mean, I can imagine if I needed assistance immediately and there was no private security around me, how sure are we that there's going to be someone to assist?
Well, look at it as Uber private security. The closest vehicle, closest security guard comes to you. We have about 5,400 boots on the ground across all 9 provinces and across 273 cities. So 5 to 8 minutes in urban areas and slightly longer in the outskirts. So you definitely, there will be help for you at one point in time.
And I mean, we understand there's also issues around unemployment in the country. It should be, of course, not easy for everyone to afford this app, or can they afford it?
The app is affordable. However, we also urge government to sponsor those communities that are stricken with the GBV and all these social ills, for government to then sponsor those communities to pay for the app.
All right, so essentially making it free.
Correct, essentially making it free for the nation, yes.
All right, so that is the Iris app. You will see there, that's the logo, Rafiwa, of the Iris app that they're saying that can actually be used to fight against gender-based violence. But of course, you have to have that app to also look and be able to identify the colors that he's speaking about. And perhaps that's how you can also fight the scourge, using your phone. But in the meantime, whilst we wait for Mamulindi Sisulu, these are the police on the ground. We have spoken to some of the people that are on the ground, and they're saying that it starts with you to stop gender-based violence. And so that's why they're marching today. They are marching. They will be shortly meeting with the king. As soon as Mamulindi Sisulu has started, we'll move from the city hall to the park.